Calista by David Edgar Grinnell. Technology. Can't live with it and can't live without it. It's something society or even human beings can't stand to live without. A person here and there on their iPhones, tablets, laptops, and iPods, but yet it blinds them from the truth. The truth that there are more important things than technology cannot replace. The people in our lives and the many wasted hours, days, and even years people spend with their technology. People are here, but the next day they can be gone. What is left after they are gone? Regret, guilt, isolation, and maybe even a broken heart. Technology can always be fixed or replaced by something better, but the people whom we love and cherish cannot. Every second, every minute, hour, or even the days that go by cannot change with the choices already made. The human life is like a watch. The brain is the mechanic, the heartbeat is the tick, but the heart itself is the battery. When does the battery die? Well, no one knows for sure, but when it does happen, it will then be too late. How does one move on from someone they love when the end wasn't in their control? How can I move forward when I devoted my entire life to her, my Calista? We were to be married, but the love of my life died from cystic fibrosis. We had met at Elmira College, and after graduating, we were engaged. Of course, during our relationship, from the start, things were complicated. Endless hospitalizations put a strain on us. Calista struggled to stay out of the hospital and would normally spend about 3 to 4 weeks in there. Then after she was released a month later, she would be back to the hospital. It was an endless cycle, and it was difficult to do normal things. Calista wore a nasal cannula and strolled an oxygen compressor with her wherever she went. Even with oxygen, she couldn't walk long distances, and so she sat in a wheelchair. Simple things like walking and holding hands together were a rarity for her and me as a couple. Long make-out sessions were difficult because her lungs did not have the capacity. Most of all, the ability to have children and pregnancy was almost an impossible privilege. Many couples, whether they know it or not, take many of these things for granted. We were endlessly committed to one another despite the hardships that came with her illness. Months before our date to wed, her father acquired an estate. It was to be a wedding gift and is registered to my name. It's hard to miss this property on the landscape of Upper Elmira with its massive scale, intricate stone facade, and soaring mansard roof. It is topped with a grand cupola, has all the picture exterior features of the Second Empire style, and is truly an amazing mansard-styled mansion with Gothic influences. It was always Calista's dream to have such an estate, a peaceful and secluded location where she could enjoy her own extravagant lair and romantic garden. She desired a garden that bends in an unseemly, unending voyage and presents its visitors with surprise and misdirection, amid all which Calista hoped that she could forget what cystic fibrosis was outside of the garden. She adored many types of plants and the idea of flora-adorned pathways. This estate has such a garden. Things were coming together, and it seemed hopeful when Calista finally got listed for a double lung transplant. The past summer was her last hospital admission. She made it through the surgery, but as the time went on, her lungs went into rejection. Within the hospital, she was placed on a ventilator and had lost the will to breathe on her own. Her parents decided she no longer needed to suffer, and the doctors unplugged her from the machine. In a matter of minutes, she died as I sat there. Nobody knows me like she did. Autumn is approaching, and I surround myself with incredible woodwork. There are multiple fireplaces, some original light fixtures, and stunning stained glass windows. There is a massive open curved staircase. The restoration of this place is not complete. A new electric service has been added, newer rubber roofing, 2 high energy efficient boilers, and some rooms have been gutted and are ready for drywall. Yet many of the rooms also retain their original character. All of this on a large spit of land with a massive barn. This is not home. It's uninhabitable. Beyond the barn is the vastness of the garden my Calista will never fondle. The phone in my hand. This phone is what remains. Its blue light illuminates and reminisces happier recollections. I hear her voice, her laughter, and her cough. A fire burns within the tile fireplace, and a bottle of bourbon glows with its tint of gold from the dancing flame. I chuckle to the sound of her laughter. My Calista celebrated her birthday this past March. Her parents baked her favorite homemade cake. The cake's recipe was passed down for generations in her family, and my silly self placed the candles upon it. Little did I know then the candles were trick candles. My Calista roared and laughed, unable to blow the candles out, and croaking out, "What the heck are these? PFT candles?" All of us laughing together and one as a family, now forever gone and never more. The video replays as I refill my glass. My nose whiffs the poison, numbs and dulls my senses. I don't want to feel anymore. The time passes. The fire is warm but makes me hazy. Through social media, I glare through every picture, every video, and every memory of the past 5 years. The more I drink, the more my heart devours itself in its dark and gloom. The memories I once loved and cherished are painful. I can no longer make new memories with my beloved Calista. Her eyes, one of blue and one of green, her dirty blonde hair touching past her shoulders, her cheek I can never caress, and those soft pink lips never to feel their tender sweetness. Though sickly and pale with her red, dark circled eyelids, she loved me like no other, and nothing can ever disavow the love I carry her, my Calista. My vision tires from the screen, the heat and the smoke of the fire. I anchor in my eyes as they ripple my vision. Something from the doorway leers. I do not recall how I left the doorway ajar, or if it was even so. I stumble to the door with my glass and touch the knob. "My beloved," whispers a voice. I jolt and wobble around. My clammy hand drops my glass. It shatters as I stare above the mantled mirror. The color in my cheeks wither pale, and my eyes are wide. Within the mirror, I catch a glimpse of a tall, dark, and beautiful woman. My shoes crackle, the shards as I teeter forward and back. She's there, my Calista. My body turns to face back to the door, but no one is there. I stare back into the mirror, and she is not there. I bite my lips, breathe in, and hold my breath. With great force, I swing my body out into the narrow hallway. Blackness devours the walls. Nothing. I flick the flashlight from my phone. The light catches glimpses of the worn and torn beige floor-designed wallpaper. My phone vibrates. It warns me about the 15% battery life. I turn on the battery saver to conserve its energy. My breaths shallow through my nose. My mouth tightens shut. My shoes scuffle against the worn and dirty floorboards. In my mind, there is no one else but me here. But I saw her. I saw someone. My feet scrape against the molded and worn floorboards to the first floor. The light from my phone reflects the stained glass window on the front door. It's shut, but the rustle of the wind sings. Beloved. The warmth in my body shrivels cold. I hear and observe the curtain flutter from the rushing wind. I shut my eyes. The incoming breeze nauseates my toxicity. As I reopen my eyes, a figure looms and sits upon the picture window. The room spins. It's hazy and blurry. I see the figure rise and shamble to me. My heart pounds as the figure's shape reminds me of her, my Calista. Memories of her flash in my brain, her smile, her beauty and grace. My body numbs. It hurts when Calista is in my heart, but I cannot have her in my arms. I must finish this house for her, my Calista. Time flees from my drunken subconscious. Dawn peeks its gray-blue colors and shines through the stained glass windows. My neck is stiff from my crouched slumber by the picture window. The birds chirp, my mouth is cotton, and my skull pounds. This feeling rages me into a loathing spite. Its feeling reminds me I am alive and still breathing. I must work. I must finish what was started. It would please her. A frenzy possesses me. I am lost in my sole occupation and task. She will come to me again after dark. I must prepare for her arrival. That must have been her last night, her spirit to encourage me to rise above my grief. It's what she would have wanted, me to build a new life. More memories of her and me flood in my mind as I work upon the house. I am in a trance, a movie on replay, as the film wheel is the mechanism that electrifies the signals in the brain. The first date where I traveled all the way through a snowstorm for her, to not disappoint her. My Calista was waiting for me at a restaurant. The white shroud made me lose my way, but she found me and we had our date at a cafe. The excitement of the date made me lock my keys in the car. Her eagerness to be with me as we finished our date. Well, are you going to ask me out, or should I? The touch of her warm hem gracing and stroking the top of mine. It took my breath away. Meeting her parents the same day and taking her car out on an errand to the church in town. We dropped off donated goods for the church, but we both couldn't understand why people in black were exiting. We ended up on the wrong side of the church and had to cross the altar to reach the other side. An urn still stood upon the altar. We had crashed the funeral. I laughed to myself thinking of this and noticed the sun is dying and setting within the horizon. The breeze blowing in is cool and reminds me of an evening like this that we went to see Calista's favorite music artist, Keith Urban. Little did we know that it would be our last date. The happiness I feel fades and sorrow fills my grim demeanor. I do not recall if I have eaten anything while in my trance, but the pain of losing her consumes the fiber of my being. I do not want to feel any more. The bottle from the night before is only half full. I resume from the previous night. I light the fire, drink from the bottle, and watch more videos from my phone of her and me. My Calista. I love her as dark things are loved between her shadow and my soul. I watch our first dance together in my old dorm room. Making Memories of Us by Keith Urban plays as I observe us dancing. Ever so slowly, closely, and her smiling throughout. Upon hearing this song, I recall Calista's words. My song to you is Keith Urban's Parallel Line because it's the song that best describes how you make me feel. Her words echo as the words of her singing the song to me ring inside my head. Take a little bit of my heart tonight. No, baby, be mine now. Baby, be mine now. I am hers. I am hers now. Even death will not stop me. I shut my eyes from the poison of the booze and the fire lit before me. The room spins once more. Fresh air is needed and a break from the fire. I stumble and stagger my way to the outside. The bright moon in the sky shines and guides my way to the garden. I amble aimlessly in its extravagant vast void. I fumble through my phone and play Calista's favorite song about me. As the song begins, I freeze in my feet and see her before me. The tall, dark, and beautiful figure of Calista is before me. It must be her. She invites me and beckons to me. How I long for her embrace, to feel her in my arms once more. I wobble and drag my feet against the dirt as my eyes catch glimpses of what is around me. The moonlight reveals this section of the garden's intimate beauty. Black roses fill in a circle bed of these flowers, and the cool breeze sways them in the most delicate motion. My entire back and neck chills ice cold as if the wind whispers, "Stay with me, my beloved. Stay with me, and you will stay forever with me in my garden." My body serenades against hers as the song continues to play. "Take me," she whispers. I utter a response. "From beyond the grave, my beloved." Darkness swallows my eyes, and then nothing. A begotten stench fills my nose as my vision blurs in and out of focus. I squeeze whatever it is in my hand. The dawn is blue, and I release my grip. Black rose petals uncrumble as the wind lifts them from the palm. They sweep across the sky, and the top of my hand, which had the petals, lies upon something stiff and soft. My eyes peer over. It's a face, and it stares at me. I scream and see its bones wrapped together with piano wire, and a fitted face with glass eyes, a rotted flesh and black hair. My hand is resting upon its chest, and I gaze upon it. A necklace with a heart-shaped locket wraps around the neck. My hands tremble at the horrid thing before me, and I open the locket. A faded picture of a woman whose facial features resemble my Calista. My fingertips grace the picture. It falls out, and my other hand grips it within the dirt. The dirt shrouds the picture, but as I lift my hand, the dirt falls through my fingers and reveals the name Calista.